popping in just a moment.
Are we live?
It looks like we're live. Hey, everybody, welcome. So this is the third and final camp of our summer here for 2021. I am joined by a raucous crew of campers. I've got you on the group view here. If you want to say hey to folks out there, turn your camera on. You can unmute and say hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice.
Hey, folks.
Yeah. Hey, guys, there's Charles. Hey, Charles. I might have to unspotlight. Nope, it works fine with my spotlight. Very good. Well, welcome everybody. And so what we're going to be up to today is basically showing you what we've been up to throughout the course of this incredible camp. Everybody's had lots of fun working in lots of different platforms and produced some really cool things completely remotely and digitally. And I'm totally fascinated by that. Campers never cease to amaze me. And I think when you see some of the things that they've produced, you will be amazed too. So we did super fun activities, and I want to show you a few of them right now. Now, one of the things we offer here for campers to take activities and ideas and inventions over to the next level is to do so through something like a membership to our Maker Vault here in Huntington. I'm reporting to you live from Maker Vault Studios. We are surrounded by tons of 3D printers and a vacuum former, vinyl cutter. All of this stuff is available to you through a Maker Vault membership. We're located at 1050 4th Avenue right here in downtown Huntington. And there's a way that we can access means of production beyond what we've learned in the camp. We had a wonderful interaction with a NASA-led robotics camp taking place here at RCBI Huntington at the same time. And for those of you who might be interested in starting a new team or taking what you're doing to the next level, you can get a free VEX IQ Super Kit. This is valued at over $500 for you to start your own team. You can find it right where I showed you, rcbi.org. Go to the Makers section and check that out. Right here's the application. No reason why you shouldn't fill one out, right? So this is an important way that with partnership of organizations like the NASA West Virginia Space Grant Consortium, we're bringing within reach STEM activities to this generation. In our design to production 3D printing and Maker Camp, we learned lots of really cool stuff. We took breaks to keep ourselves sharp and enhance our focus. We worked with RCBI's Tyler Brandstetter to come up with business ideas and to take what we're making and scale it, not just in size, but in reach, right? Yes, Damari. No? Oh, it's Gabriel. Okay, let me get through my presentation and we'll be able to chat in a minute. Our objectives here were to learn 3D modeling, 3D designs, 2D design, and 3D printing, of course, too. We did this work with incredible tools like Tinkercad, which every one of you now have access to your very own account, and you can continue to do incredible work inside that account from here on out. No more napkin sketches. We are drawing in 3D. When we want to jump back to drawing in 2D, we've learned about an incredible tool called the Gravit Designer. This works a lot like any kind of market-ready design software like Adobe Illustrator or even architectural software. And I would argue that the campers have achieved a significant level of mastery in this program, as complicated as it is, because each one of them was able to create incredible projects like you see outlined here. We walked through the Glowforge laser interface and cut their remarkable projects out on the Glowforge laser cutter here at RCBI Huntington. Well, we often talk about like why we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We don't need to make something that hasn't already been made. So we actually explored tools like Thingiverse, where folks just like you and me share models on the web for things that we can print and make, even modify and change. You'll hear me talk about a few projects that our campers have modified and changed as we go through their presentation today. And then earlier today, we found this remarkable drag and drop coding and programming tool like you'll use to run your Vex robot, right? Run it up a wall even if that's what you're into, right? And this 3D tool is entirely free and available to you at vr.vex.com. You can explore this tool at any time. We have drag and drop coding and programming blocks, as well as tutorials and activities that can keep the learning alive from here on. These are the platforms that we're supporting. You can actually get one of these robots for free with the Vex IQ giveaway. And our campers had direct experience with young people working with these robots. In fact, I think in the camp, we have some campers who have participated in these kind of robotics programs. So that being said, we'll get on to the most exciting part of our presentation today. And that is kind of what you guys are going to get in your take-home kits. Now, it's not all about what you made, because we had some remarkable partners from Suddenlink who provided scholarships for our camp, who came in on Wednesday and gave us a manufacturer tour of careers in the telecommunications industry. They took questions from us, had interactions with us, and we talked about the world of infrastructure around us. Suddenlink, thank you so much for your support of our maker programs. Last and certainly not least, the incredible nuts, bolts, and thingamajigs, the foundation of the future manufacturers of America. They make these camps possible for each and every one of you. So Suddenlink provided scholarships for our camp and a tour. Nuts, bolts, and thingamajigs provided the critical support that it took to make this possible. And each of you are going to get a commemorative t-shirt recognizing all of these sponsors, right, in your kit. Suddenlink also provided us with this incredible bag of killer merch, right? Water bottle, hats, sunglasses, right? And one of the coolest things, I think, this wonderful phone case. We had a talk about innovating and inventing new things when we were with Tyler Brandstetter here from RCBI's Entrepreneurship Coordination. We can actually see a cool mashup of a couple of different ideas in this cool phone clip, right? This can hold our phone up in portrait or landscape mode, give us a grip, and everybody knows slap bracelets, right? Somewhere out there, someone just like you some time ago had a remarkable idea of how to integrate something like a snap bracelet into something like a phone stand that even holds a credit card, right? Can't be beat. So all around us is a world full of objects, full of things hanging on poles. And now we know a little bit about what those things are and how they work because of our friends at Suddenlink. All around us are things that are plastic injection molded and designed using 3D design. We can't get away from it. It's there for us if we open our eyes and take a look. And our campers have had a remarkable time learning to look at the world in new ways, right? And so we're going to correctly recognize that today by offering these remarkable certificates to our campers in recognition of your work, right? And so we're going to start with Delaney. Now, let's take a look at what Delaney made. This is the house that Delaney made, right? So Delaney, my goodness, there's so much stuff. I'm going to have to just take a second to pick it all up here. Oh my gosh, this is great. We did some remarkable and fun 3D design, making things like this incredible keychain. And Delaney, if you're on there, you want to say a couple words about it? How did you design this object? I know that you had to.
Well, I figured I first went with a rainbow technique, but then I suddenly thought if I made it clearer, it would look nice with my book bag. And then I did the scribble for the keychain because I don't have very large holes, so I decided to make a small one. And then I added the little crooked Y as a little personal touch.
So the really cool depth in this project is that, you know, Delaney drew this by hand. This wasn't like a geometric object with dimensions that, you know, she altered. She drew this by hand in our 3D design environment. And we also talked through how if you want to punch your letters out, you're going to punch out these little interiors too and have a hollow A or a hollow D. So you actually stencilized this using those geometric blocks, right, to make sure your keychain came out as one piece. I think it's really brilliant. You also showed your ability to manipulate shapes in 3D space by producing this little cool Among Us figure. Isn't that incredible? I love it. And then tell us a little bit about this one. This is fantastic.
That
Like
that was just me fiddling around, and I decided, well, if I turn this a little bit, it might turn out in the shape of a donut. And
it totally did. It's actually made out of little 3D ice cream cones. You see that? We called it the ice cream cone ninja star. Of course, I'm not going to show this for everybody, but everybody is going to get this incredible resin print as an example of what we learned about resin printing and how it works. Now, last but not least, in our remarkable 2D design environment, Delaney was able to use things like the duplicate tool to duplicate shapes and create these incredible geometric objects. These were then etched with our laser into the face of this piece of acrylic. It was custom sized to fit inside of this little light puck, one of which each and every one of you will receive. So this is your little display. It has a remote control and everything. Delaney, this is fantastic. We're really elated that you were able to join us, and I'm very proud of everything that you accomplished in the camp. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so Abigail is next, and Abigail gets, this is Abigail's 2D. Can you even believe it? It's totally gorgeous. Abigail, tell us about some of the interests here that you're working through. Bit of a photographer yourself?
Huh?
Are you a bit of a photographer yourself?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a really great keychain.
Thank you.
Now, despite what I brought up earlier about Delaney choosing to stencilize hers, Abigail chose not to, and I think it gave it a really cool, designerly, kind of like edgy look and feel. Abigail, that's a great keychain.
Thank you.
Too, right? Fantastic work. I appreciate how engaged you've been through the camp and how productive as well. Great job. So, Charlie Norris, he's a veteran of our camps here and actually joined us in the after hours troubleshooter sessions where we took projects to another depth, right? Look at this keychain. That's super tight. I love it. Again, a good use of positive and negative space. We got pieces sticking up from the background a bit, along with portions punched all the way through to produce the actual keychain itself. Pretty cool. So tell us a little about this end. Is this a logo for you? Is that your idea behind it, Charlie?
Yes, that's my logo.
I see your logo repeated here in your incredible acrylic cut. Tell us a little bit about how you drew that.
Yeah, so this was inspired by a previous design, which here it is. You can barely see it though.
Yeah.
But
oh, it's okay. We can't. I can't see you here. I'm so sorry. I probably should do this as a gallery view. Go ahead, Charlie. Oh, you got yours from last year. Look at that. I love it.
So that's what it was inspired by. And I put that sort of swinking rectangle effect.
I think it's fantastic, man. And I also really appreciate that you, are kind of carrying forward with you the things that you learned in previous interfaces. So Charlie, great job. Super pleased with your accomplishments. I hope you are too.
I am pleased.
Very
That's
good.
all I'll say.
Here comes Giovanni. So let's try to spotlight our campers here as we do this if we can. This is new to me. I haven't done this before, so bear with me. I'm going to add their spotlight to mine so I can see Giovanni's certificate here, right? Our recognitions to you on that certificate. And you were able to make some bonus items too. Tell us a little bit about this one.
I went into Thinkiverse and found a Among Us and a bone for it. So I attached them together and I made a Among Us person that died.
You sure did. And he also was able to add this little custom logo to the piece too, which I'm pretty proud of. He did a wonderful job of attaching that. And we've left attached the critical support material that makes 3D printing successful for Giovanni to basically practice tearing off the piece. Post-processing our 3D prints are just as important. Check out this keychain. Giovanni, you did a lot with this keychain, so I can see that you have positive and negative spaces, things punched into the surface, out of the surface along the edge. So you were paying good attention during that duplication presentation, weren't you? And then Giovanni, right, sticking up from the surface. I love it. And if you love that, you're going to just flip over this guy. Look at this acrylic.
Yeah.
We've got emojis in here, duplicated objects to make geometric, multifaceted shape spirals in depth. So how hard was it to draw these things?
Not hard.
There you go. It's easy if you have the right tools at hand and someone who can show you how to use them. I hope I did an okay job showing you how to use some of those tools during the week. I think you did a good job. Oh, I love it. Giovanni, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure having you at the camp. Looking forward to next year already. So let me find Audrey here. We're going to try to go with the spotlight theme here. We'll get Audrey up here. I don't see, there we are. Spotlight. So Luke or Drew, if you're with me in the room and you could kind of manage the spotlighting, I'd really appreciate it. Sometimes they jump off onto camp studies when they're not there. So Audrey, here you go. Without further ado, we got a lovely certificate with some recognitions for you. Would you guys be able to add a spotlight per camper when I bring them up? I've been doing that and it's working really well, but it's still kind of a juggle each time. Yes. Yeah, I love it. That'll help us streamline. So Audrey got like crazy in the right direction. I think this is the coolest thing that I've seen in a little bit. I'm not allowed to have favorites, and I didn't say that. All I'm saying is that what you made is really slick. So we got our Audrey keychain. Looks great. So we were talking about how to put shapes into, punch them out of, and punch them into these keychains. We've done almost all of those things. Audrey joined us in our after hours troubleshooters and ended up getting a bonus project out of it. But first, look at this. I'm adding my spotlight in there too. Look at that. I just like, it's just absolutely remarkable. So much fun. So you're able to like find a logo somewhere out on the web, am I correct? And then we were able to prepare that logo properly and color code it and scale it to get it to work for this project. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's what I did.
Nice. Not dissimilar to the work that we did in the after hours troubleshooters, where you found a really cool project with a little planter like this, and then found a completely different cloud that you liked. And we wound up mashing the cloud. This is insane. We wound up mashing the cloud into the holding bar inside of Tinkercad, our design space. If you look, there's a piece of support material to hold it up because it printed this way. I'm going to let you remove that so you know what that's like. Inside, you see tiny little holes in the bottom. That is where, when we water our plant, it rains. It's the coolest thing. Can you believe it? What kind of plant do you want to put in here, Audrey?
Well, I was thinking about a cactus because it's kind of small, but cactuses don't need to be watered all that much. So then I came up with an idea that like you put a little baby plant in there so that it'll fit in there, and then you just like water it until it gets big enough, and then you move it to another pot and then get another baby plant. I think you're muted.
This is your incubator, right? That's what you're saying, right? I love it. Audrey, very clever, fantastic. I really enjoyed the time we spent in the camp together, and I think you learned a great deal. I hope you agree. All right, Mr. Gabriel is coming up. Gabriel, fantastic. My by far my most interactive camper. Wouldn't you agree, Gabriel?
Yeah, I would agree.
The most interactive. So, you know, Gabriel doesn't injure himself very often, but when you cut him, he bleeds green. Look at that Marshall keychain. I love it. That's wonderfully done.
I just like Marshall with my grandpa. He's my favorite.
I like Marshall too. And look at this. He came to the After Hours Troubleshooters, spent some time with us, and we were able to print a Flexi Rex. You've probably seen this on Thingiverse. But Deacon, why are you just letting the campers download and print things on Thingiverse?
Oh, did you see
Buddy,
where I put my name on
that's
his
not
head?
what we're up to. Here we go. He's raising the point. There it is. Look at this. Gabriel actually imported this object into a design space and accomplished some remarkable customization on it. You see that? So we actually created text in 3D, and then we merged that text in with the imported file that we brought and printed this really cool exercise. I think it helps us understand things like what we call functional assemblies, the way that 3D printing is really changing the world, right? This cannot be disassembled because it was never assembled. And I know that's mind-blowing, but think about this. Its assembly process was integrated into its production process. As it was being produced, it was also being assembled, and it stays together thereafter. Mind blown. So we hope that campers grasp and learn and own these learnings through experience, getting to see and feel and do, getting to import different file types, learn to trace them in a 2D design environment, convert text to paths, and duplicate objects. I'd say when I came in there, you had most of this already done, didn't you?
Yeah.
And we worked together to polish it up to exactly what you wanted. I think you're probably, in addition to Marshall, you're a bit of a Velociraptor fan, am I correct?
I think so.
Just a little bit. Well, that can be, you know, you just have a story in which your Velociraptor goes to Marshall University and gets itself an education. I think that's a good outcome. Gabriel, thanks for joining us in the camp. I had so much fun hanging out with you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. We got Damari coming up next. Damari, the ever faithful helper of Gabriel, you two joined us together, and I think that was totally interesting. You got to hang out through the course of the week, help each other through some challenges, and then participate along with each other. See, Damari's looking in that direction. I think that's where Gabriel is. Right. Let's check out what you made.
Okay, I have a monitor on my right. That's where I'm looking. I put it on my middle one. So now I'm looking at it.
Check it out. Look at Damari's keychain. That's pretty remarkable, man. Nice extrusion there. Look how thick those letters are. Good use of positive and negative space. And what was funny was Damari left his letters laying on the background instead of on the surface. And that's okay. Check out this really cool archive we have on the back left over from it. It's like a shadow of where the letters are on the other side. This teaches us a little bit about how the 3D printer is actually behaving when it produces our object. It's a fun clue. I want you to look at it when you get your keychain in the mail tomorrow. I think you won this. Am I correct? We talked about different 3D printing methods, and we talked about vase mode prints. It's a super thin compliant vase. And Damari was, you know, he was really working hard to learn to manipulate 3D objects in space inside of our design environment. And I said, I'll tell you what, if you can complete a challenge for manipulating these objects, I'll let you win a prize. And he won a vase. Some other campers are competing with our robotics platform to win a couple more 3D prints, but you know, results will be in after today's meeting, so you'll have to wait. Good manipulation there on Charizard with your after hours troubleshooters. I think that's pretty slick. You combined this piece into this model, is that correct?
Yeah, I put it in, I got it from Thingiverse and then I imported it into Tinkercad, and then I put the keychain ring into the Charizard.
That's remarkable. That's very complex work that you explained there too. I mean, I'm encouraged that you now know how to do it. So look at these duplications, echoes of shapes and space and time. It looks like we're going into a vortex. And is this I learned in the camp too, this is a Skyrim logo, right?
Yeah.
Game you like, we got a mashup. We imported a Skyrim logo. You've imported a Darth down here. This is so great. These bases change color, so I'm going to show you that too. Isn't that great? I'm very proud of what you were able to accomplish, and also being a good helper, an excellent communicator. always raising your hand, asking questions when we need to know. And I know too that you've helped out a lot of other people who might have been struggling with certain things in the camp, but not been brave enough like you were to raise your hand. So it's a good encouragement. It's been a pleasure to have you in the camp. Up next will be Kia. Well, Kia, geez, I don't know what to say. Wait till you see all this cool stuff that we have made. Got a certificate for you with some recognitions up here. Each camper will see that we've customized your certificate to recognize your particular skills and strengths and the ways that you help and connect. This Kia's keychain, look at this guy. That's a nice little smiley face there. Positive and negative space, punching those letters up off the surface. I think it's absolutely fantastic. That's super cute. Tell me a little bit about this guy. You drew Wally? Is that who that is?
Yeah, it's Wally. I really like Wally, so I decided to take Wally from Thingiverse and then make him a hat.
Oh, that's awesome. So you got a Wally and then you added this hat on top. Now we can see some support material around here too. And you might be a little judicious about what you remove and don't remove because he's very delicate at certain points. And that's just the nature of Wally, right? So that's pretty cool. You did a great job mashing that up. Wait till you all see this. This is super. I thought whenever I was drawing the owl exercise to kind of give you an example of what you could do with your 2D designs, I thought you were drawing an owl because I saw those ears pop up first. And then when we get it, it's this wonderful kiss as a cat.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. And these are all duplications of shapes too, right?
Yeah.
Here and here. Well, I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, you're definitely a master with the duplicate tool. Great job. This has been fantastic. I hope you're very pleased with what you see. It's going to be exciting to get these in the mail tomorrow. Awesome, awesome. Up next is Charles O. Charlie O. Charlie is the one who educated me on the Skyrim logo. Look at the sky, this dragon. It's pretty cool. So you were able to import this graphic, right, and turn it into a trace inside of our 2D design tool.
Yeah, I got it off Tinkercad. I imported it into Tinkercad, or I got it off of Thingiverse. I imported it into Tinkercad, and then I imported it into Gravit Designer.
Wow, that's like 3 different jumps. And what I've talked to campers about is that the incredible thing about these 2D and 3D design tools is their ability to preserve scale from one thing to another, which means if you drew something in 2D and it was 1 inch by 1 inch, you draw it in 3D and it's 1 inch by 1 inch, it has a hole, then those 2 things are going to fit together exactly perfectly. The same is true with these. We were able to bring a logo in, maintain scale through 3 different steps, put it on our file, and then use color coding to tell the laser, I don't want you to cut all the way through on this. I want you to score it on the surface, right? And then we were able to cut it on the outside. We maintain dimensions of our objects because everybody has the same base, right? So we start by drawing that. We make a canvas in the size of our object. And then, of course, you know, Charlie works his magic. Pretty fantastic. Check out this keychain. Super proficient. Very good with 3D design. I would say maybe really good with design in general. It has a nice balance to it. It's a good choice of font. We punched through for negative space, added these ridges for positive space and framing. All right, you want to be an engineer or graphic designer or both?
I have no
I
idea.
think the proper answer is all 3. I'm just kidding. All right, Charlie, such a pleasure to have you in the camp. Very pleased with what you produced. I hope you are too. All right, Owen. Owen's a man of many interests, a few of which were able to really show up front and center in our camp. We got your recognitions here. And an incredible keychain here. This is off the chain. Tell us a little bit about this, why you made it and how you made it.
Well, the first I just did before I even made it, I was thinking of what I wanted to put onto it. And last year I made one that had a circle keychain. So this year I decided to do I guess it's a polygon, and just to make it different. And I really like dinosaurs, and the the dinosaur Punch Out is a T-Rex, and the A is from one of my favorite video games.
Fantastic. Well, Owen also joined us in our after hours troubleshooters, and I'm going to tell you we did you a favor and pulled the support material off of this sucker because it was not only a challenging print, but it took a lot of really fine support material to pull this off. Look at this, guys. Isn't that off the chain?
Yeah, that's so cool.
So this
Turned
was
out
really a lot of an exercise in 3D printing. But again, you know, we're not just pulling models down and printing them. What we're doing is modifying them. Can you tell us a little bit about your particular modification of this?
Well, I got this raptor off of Thingiverse, and he told us to like modify it or add something to it. And another one of my interests is Lego. So I found a Lego piece off of Thingiverse, and then I stuck it on, but I made it too big, so it had to be rescaled. And we had to make it smaller while keeping the Lego the right size.
So long and short is that you and I worked together about how to accomplish the idea that you had while keeping our project organized and maintaining scale through that process. Don't get me wrong, that stuff is complicated, but I'll tell you, it's just like driving a car or riding a bicycle. Once you learn it, you just got it. You got it. It's complicated, but it becomes second nature when we walk through and accomplish it together. So I'm super, super glad we had the opportunity to interface, and super glad you had the chance to make stuff like this. That is insane. I love it. If I was a stormtrooper, this is the award I would want to win. You know, it's the Vortex Horn of Plenty Stormtrooper Award 2021. I'd like to thank you, Owen, very much for presenting this to me. Just kidding. This is cool. Owen, great keychain. I really enjoyed working with you in the after hours troubleshooters and making a custom project. Very proud of what you accomplished. Been a pleasure to have you in the camp. We got Ellie coming up next. Ellie is a bit of a veteran of our 3D printing and maker camps as well, and was also able to join us in the after hours troubleshooters. So we got a bonus project or two out of it. Here's one of them, and this is a couple of keychains. Something near and dear to your heart. What are these, like Star Wars?
Yes, they're both Star Wars. One of them is the Mandalorian skull from the Mandalorian, and then the other one is Ahsoka Tano's logo.
I love it. Very fantastic. She just kept coming back to troubleshooters, and so we have more to show you. But look at this keychain. It's unbelievable. This logo you said is from a favorite band of yours. You want to share that?
Yes, the favorite band is Heart, and that's the H from their logo. So I cropped out everything except the H because my last name also starts with H.
And it's 3D. It has contours around the side. It's very sturdily constructed. And I'll tell you what really just gets me. We talked a little bit about design as well. Some folks punched holes out. Some people punched out heart-shaped holes. You punched a hole out, but you actually, the hole creeps into the body of the keychain too, giving it this great like design element, which I think was really very successful. I don't know what my camera is focusing on, but it's not your keychain, so sorry. But you get to see it tomorrow. And here's one of our cuts. You got a quick preview at the beginning of our video of this on the bed of our Glowforge laser cutter. We talked about how to convert text to outlines because lasers and vinyl cutters, computer-controlled cutting machines of all sorts can follow a path, but they don't know what a text is. They're like, that's not I don't deal with Word documents, right? So we were able to find cool fonts, trace them into something that the machine could deal with, and also keep organized by saying, we want you to score this part, but we want you to cut this part. I think everybody knows this logo. If they didn't, you have it pretty well delineated, right? It's very no doubt. All right, this is a fun one. You know, Ellie needed an easel, and this is part of what 3D printing is there to help us do, to make things that we need when we need them. So we start by exploring model libraries like Thingiverse, and we find a cool easel, but we don't want to just print it. Although just printing models can be a challenge, we definitely want to do a customization. And I agree completely that this is a pretty excellent easel, okay? Here's what's cool about it. Just like FlexiRex, this cannot be disassembled because it was never assembled. It is a functional assembly. Parts from one side are captured in the other, forming a hinge. It cannot come apart ever at all unless it was broken. And it folds to any level we need. And I noticed too, the tips stick up enough that I think you could probably use this in the kitchen. You put your recipe book right there too. And keep your pages open with it. I think it's slick. Whatever you want to use it for. Great job, Ellie.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's been a pleasure to have you again this year. I can't wait till we're back together again. Next is Dallas. All right, Dallas. Great job. We drew Minecraft Man, and this is entirely built from scratch. Isn't that right, Dallas? Totally from scratch inside of our design environment. Pretty well organized too. We see indications of where the feet are, and we talked about how when we 3D print, our 3D prints are made out of the filament that we use to print them, these long continuous strands of plastic. So we know our Minecraft fellow here, I think it's Steve, right?
Yes.
He was going to come out a plain color, and you can use markers, nail polish, acrylic paint, or anything you want to replicate Steve's little face and clothes and hair and all that cool stuff. But I'll tell you, you really exemplified a mastery of your ability to move things around the 3D space. And that's nowhere better captured than in this remarkable keychain. Look at this hand-drawn scribble that was used to hold the ring of the keychain on and in place. Letters extruded from the surface, positive and negative. I think that is pretty darn slick. Very good job. And also, you're not going to believe this. This is pretty awesome. Look at this laser cut. We have duplications, spirals reaching back in through space, right? What are these characters here?
This line from Minecraft, and I just like Minecraft, so
I love Minecraft too. That's very cool. Great job, Dallas. I can't believe it.
Drew actually helped me with that. So.
Oh, awesome. Well, thanks, Drew. We have a couple of really skilled camps helpers this year in Luke Richardson and Drew Lees, who are helping our campers at every turn, not just with challenges, but ways to close in on opportunities with their projects when they want to make things complex. So thanks for the shout out, Dallas. It's very thoughtful of you. Heart and soul, man. Wonderful to have you in the camp. I don't know if I showed your certificate, but we definitely gave you some recognitions, personalized, just kind of recognizing what you contributed in the camp. Good job, Dallas. Fantastic. All right, last but not least is Mikhail. I would say Mikhail's projects were off the chain, but they actually ended up being on the chain because he added some chain links to his keychain. Mikhail, he's a veteran of our programs. Great to have you with us here again this year. Check out this keychain. Okay. And here are some of these chain links we were talking about. Now they've been printed with some support material. You may have a little bit of work to do to get them separated, but I think that that's important for you to understand and perform. What is this little signature in the bottom corner here too? It looks like a hand-drawn scribble.
That's my last name.
Very cool. I absolutely love it. Great design. And speaking of great design, look at this guy. I recognize that fellow right there. Oh, it's fantastic. Duplicated objects. And each camper drew every aspect of this object. The outside edges kept track of color coding for what would be scored, what would be cut, right? What might be etched. And these ended up being really remarkable projects. I hope you're very proud. I know I am. It was a great pleasure to have you again in this year's camp. So without further ado, I'm going to jump out to a gallery view. If you have your camera on, we're going to give you a chance to say hey to anybody out there who might be watching. Give everybody a wave and say hello. I guess we're saying goodbye at this point. Cheer. And I really thank each and every one of you for joining us out there. I want to make sure that you know that you can go to our website at rcbi.org, learn about our VexIQ kit giveaway, any other camps and workshops that we, our partners, are conducting right here at rcbi.org. So this is Deacon from the STEM Education and Maker Programs and Innovation here at the Robert C. Byrd Institute, signing off. And I really thank you so much for joining us today. All right. Bye, guys, and bye, everybody. Campers, stay with us. We're going to continue right along.
Bye, Mr. Deacon. See you next
Yeah.
year.
Awesome.
Next year might be in person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I want to happen. I want that to happen. I want that to happen so much.
Yep.
Or